it was a couple of people that I called about that decision to go do my Hall of Fame in Chattanooga. And guess who those two people were? Y'all two, that's so crazy. I called Hatch and I talked to you. And he was like, don't do it, T. He was like, man, you gotta go. He was like, you gotta go.
I wasn't like, you gotta go. I gave you reasons why you should go.
But it was like, I got, in my eyes, it was like,
it was some information I found out on how the hall works, and that's kind of when I started changing my tune as well.
And I spoke to you, and you was like, T, you was like, I understand.
Really?
That was pretty much his feedback to me. It's like,
what'd you say to him?
Yeah, I said, man, I think you might regret it maybe later. I said, but I understand if you don't. I said, I get it. I said, because to me, I said, it did you wrong. I mean, because I've been him, and you know the difference, and you don't like it when they're doing. Like, I want everything to be fair. Just be fair.
Just be fair.
If it's fair,
just be fair.
I ain't got no problem with it. But don't do it. And then when I heard other guys say it,
Hall of Famers,
Hall of Fame guy, oh, he shouldn't be. And I'm like, what you mean he shouldn't be? I said, I'll give you an example. I said, give you a great example. When they would ask me about LT, you know, should LT be in because of the drugs? I said, what?
LT?
Hell yeah.
Lawrence Taylor.
This is
I said, look,
not LaDainian Tomlinson people. This is Lawrence Taylor.
I said, look, football is not a popularity contest. I said, nobody's perfect.
Come on.
I said, but should he be in? I said, I tell you what, line up against him out there and see if you think he should be in.
And then tell me.
And then tell me.
Right. Yeah.
I said, of course. I said, T.O. should have been in the first ballot. I said, it's just wrong because, you know, you got guys who don't like you. I told you, I don't know if I told you the story. A guy told me, a reporter told me in Houston that vote for the Hall of Fame. He said, when I got in, he said, I want to tell you something. He said, I ain't going to tell you who. He said, but you were going to be a unanimous decision, but one guy wouldn't vote for you. And he said, let me tell you why he wouldn't vote for you. He said, because you held out. And I asked him, what that got to do with football?
What that got to do?
He said, I never vote for a guy that holds out. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Right. To me, that's that political stuff. You know, it's the political BS.
Just doesn't have anything to do with
it. It ain't got nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
And
Nothing at all.
And I mean, I played against some great players. I mean, I played against LT. I played against Walter Payton. I played against,
Darryl Green,
my cousin Dexter Manley, who should be in the Hall of Fame. It's a travesty that he's not in.
Wow,
I mean, because, and you talking about a guy who was dominant, because, you know, as an offensive player, and you're an offensive player, you know who can play.
Who dominates.
You know, you out there, you like, oh. Are they giving a guy hype over there? You like, man, he ain't worth it. Especially worried about him.
You game plan against.
There you go.
You game plan.
We game plan for Dexter Manley. We game plan for Lawrence Taylor. We game plan for Reggie White. You know, certain guys, I'm like, we ain't game plan for him. How you getting the Hall of Fame?
Right.
And this is not just on a one-off. This is years consecutively, consistently game planning for people. So again, you guys are on it right here. Thank you guys for the support.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was like,
it was a long conversation. It wasn't like no 5-minute conversation.
And I took it serious. A lot of people probably think that, oh, he's just T.O. being T.O. That was kind of like the thing. But I honestly, I took it strongly into consideration. Like you said, okay, one day, like, man, you may regret it. And I took that, honestly, that feedback wholeheartedly. Listen to Hatch, tell me, like I said, he gave me some scenarios of why I should go, and then, and I told him, kind of gave him my reasons why I felt the way that I did. And like I said, I took all this information, and even Doug, who is my marketing guy, and he was kind of helping orchestrate everything. And I had, once I had talked to you guys, I had ultimately, at that point, I'm like, okay, I got all the feedback that I needed from the people that I knew, that I cared for, and I knew that they was gonna shoot me straight with. And I took that information and I decided, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go. I said, I took it with a grain of salt. And I'm like, I told Douglas, man, I still don't think, I said, I value their opinions. And then I went to the situation of, okay, let me talk to my mom. And my mom, she watched me play a little bit, but she didn't understand the whole
like moms down there.
The dynamic of the whole voting process. She didn't understand all of that, and so I just took it upon myself. And okay, this is my decision. And then Doug was like, look, they have the orientation. He's like, T, don't make a rash decision. He was like, you may regret it. He said, let's go to the do the orientation, And then he said, after that, if you still feel the way that you do, he said, we'll do it your way.
Yeah, and that's
I went to Canton. I met, Urlacher and B. Dawkins was there. So we toured this and that and the other. And honestly, like I said, it didn't make me feel any better about the situation.
Probably worse, actually.
And I came back and then, I just this is what I'm gonna do. And like I said, it wasn't the most popular thing, for me to make that decision. I knew that I was gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. Obviously I heard, leading up to the week or that week of the actual ceremony, there are meetings being held. They were still discussing my situation. I heard it was like 50-50, with the Hall of Famers there. Some liked me, some didn't like me. And I knew some of those guys, you know what I mean? In addition to you, I talked to Deion Sanders about the situation, Ronnie Lott, these were, obviously guys that I, respected and played with the Niners, you know what I mean? So I knew, like I said, for me, I was gonna have to identify with the teams that I played with. And so I took that really strongly into consideration. And, at the end of the day, I know people always say, and that was one of the topics in the statements that people said, on telecast is that, oh man, you're gonna regret it one day. He's gonna look back on this or what have you. And honestly, like I said, I talked to my brother, my mom, my sister, and those are the people that were so important for me in making my decision. And then they saw it hurt the way that I was treated, not making it the first time, not making it the second time, considering where I was statistically.
I know.
They were hurt. Not only did the millions of fans that I've, that have supported me throughout the course of my career, they were hurt. So when my mom was like, we with you. Whatever you want to do, T, we with you. And to all the critics out there, especially the ones that are like, oh, he, not you, they were like, he's going to regret it. I looked at it at this. How can you regret something? It's almost like when people say you miss somebody. How can you miss something that you've never experienced?
There you go. Yeah. You're
So that's how I look at, and I come back with the people to say, oh, he may regret it one day. Because that feeling that they feel that I'm gonna, that I'm gonna miss out on at the Hall of Fame or the Canton experience, I can get that from my family. Nothing can replace family.
That's true.
I don't care how many people, fans or whatever, cheer for me at that establishment. That love and adoration for who I am as a person and supported me throughout the course of my career, that could never be replaced. So I tell those people I can never miss anything that I never experienced.